Welcome to Talkin Business. I'm Joe Catrambone, CEO of the Stuart Martin County Chamber of Commerce, and it's my distinct honor and pleasure today to have Jamie Bond with me. Jamie deals with one of my hot buttons, and to me, one of the most pressing, urgent actions that are occurring through the world every day, and that's abuse. It's despicable. Those people to me are despicable. And as I said to Jamie, I know that they're sick, but I don't care. They're despicable people, and I'm just I can't help myself feeling that way. I have I have said this for years, Jamie, because I've been an animal owner my whole life with horses and dogs. And I've always said that I honestly, and I don't mean this being facetiously, I think before a person can give birth to a child or own an animal, they should be trained, they should have to take courses, they should have to take tests, I don't care what. Because I've seen, especially people buy a horse and they think, oh, I just turn them loose and leave them on their own. Well, that's not how it works. Anyway, I'm not going to use that stuff. I want to hear about your organization, and I know what a wonderful job it does, and I'm thankful that we have you and your organization in our community.
So, happy to be here.
Let me ask you a question I ask all of my guests. How did you end up in Martin County?
So personally, I moved up here, gosh, probably 15 years ago, was in Rocky Point, love Stuart. I'm originally from the other coast of Florida, from Cape Coral, Fort Myers area.
You were born in
I'm a native Floridian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why don't we have met too many of those left?
Not many of those, yeah. But there's so much of Martin County that's just, it's such a nice place to live. It's clean, it's safe. We have a great sheriff. We have great businesses, great people in our community. So I just fell in love with Martin County. And we were invited in 2015, Place of Hope was, by then Senate President Joe Negron and Marilyn Magar and Gail and they
all great people.
Absolutely. And they said, we really need your services here in the Treasure Coast, serving all 4 counties of the Treasure Coast. So we did. We expanded our services from Palm Beach County into Martin County and then inherently into Indian River, St. Lucie, and Okeechobee as well. But we call Martin County our home. We were just gifted a campus at the end of 2021. It was formerly Samaritan Home for Boys. And so right off of Cove Road, so we were gifted that campus.
Well, I didn't realize that's where you were.
Yeah, so that is our campus now, and we launched a $15 million capital campaign, expansion and renovation campaign, and we're about 12.5. So we're almost there. And we're rocking and rolling. Thank you so much. That's community stepping up. It's folks in the community who have seen us day in and day out since 2001, working so hard for these children that you mentioned. And we are guardians of our future. We are guardians of our community and our community's future. So if we don't step up and take care of these children and these families and give them something, you mentioned families should be trained before having kids and animals, and I agree. But so many of who come into our care are victimized by people who are stuck in a cycle, who have never seen what stability looks like, so they don't know how to give that to their children. And it is this cycle of abuse and poverty, homelessness, human trafficking. And when they're coming into our care, whether it's in Palm Beach County, on our Stuart campus, or wherever they're coming into our care, we have 5 campuses across 5 counties. We are trying to provide stability and inspire them and plant seeds and show them that they're worthy and they're loved and what they're capable of. Because we know if we don't, they're going to repeat that cycle and they're going to end up in our jails. And Sheriff Snyder said it beautifully. He said, my jail would be a lot less full if there was a place of hope for so many of these people who needed it back then. My jail would be half the size of what it is now. So, linking arms with people in the community to provide stability and shelter, provide a life, and getting them past 18 years old, getting them into college, working with job force readiness, right? Keeping them here in Martin County to keep them off the streets and not being homeless. So that's what we're doing.
And training them what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly.
What all of the issues that you deal with, what is the most prevalent? Is it abuse?
It is at its core, it's abuse. At its core, it's evil. Period. But it's abuse. It's abuse, whether it's neglect, abandonment, homelessness, trafficking. All of it comes down to abuse, and we deal with it on two fronts. One, the rehabilitation, right, and once they're in care, bringing them into our care and putting them into those steps, like I mentioned, a stable and loving environment with a married couple. For our young adults who have aged out of foster care or are homeless or are single moms with kids, that's a huge issue that we have right now. Single moms with kids being priced out of apartments, living
How
in
do
their
they do it?
cars, right? So half of our Stuart campus is dedicated once it's finished, and we're well on our way thanks to the support of the community and the county commissioners. There will be over 64 units of affordable transitional housing for single moms with kids, youth who can't afford to get an apartment, those who have aged out of foster care, human trafficking survivors. So we're caring for them on that end, but the other end is child abuse prevention and family strengthening, which goes along to exactly what you just said. Being able to plant those seeds and provide them those tools and resources so as they grow up and move into transitioning into healthy adulthood, they're not repeating what they saw because we've shown them something else, a different perspective on how they can respond. And now we have so many youth who have families that came through our system, came through our care, and have said, thank goodness that I saw something else because I had no idea what it was like to be a mom. I had no idea what it was like to be a dad, to have structure. These kids, some of these kids come to us, one lived in a closet his entire life. Never went to school, ate out of a bucket, went to the bathroom in a bucket, lived in a closet.
How old was he?
He came to us in about eighth grade. He was emaciated, probably this tall. So we are having, if you can imagine, to pour in every foundational piece, love on him, but then show them, why do I brush my teeth? Why do I make my bed? Why do I get up and do these chores, right? If you ever come to our campuses, and I know you will once our Stuart campus is built out, we do things at such a level of excellence and things are done well and beautiful because they deserve it. But if we expect them to go out and be productive members of society and they've never seen it before, never experienced it before, they don't know what they can attain. So we have to show them that. We have to model that for them. So our homes are beautiful. They're clean. One little girl said to me, she said, I don't deserve this. I've never been able to open a drawer and not have cockroaches running out. They deserve so much. We specialize in sibling groups. So we have right now on our Gardens campus a sibling group of 3 from Fort Pierce who grew up in the woods. They would never know what that's like. And once they get to 18, if they get to 18, what's going to happen then? If we can get them in school and catch them up, and statistically, children in foster care are about 2 years behind all of their peers for a variety of reasons, trauma
Sure.
and abuse and not going to school, just surviving, right? Some of the kids, when they go to school, that's the only meal they're going to get. So when we bring them in, we're trying to get them not just through the day, but helping them get to that next step. All of our kids who have been eligible to graduate high school have graduated high school, and every single one of them have gone on to college or a trade. Not every child's going to go to college. So we are big on trades, vocational education, getting them into, John Cassidy is a great partner. We have plumbers, mechanics, Project Lift. We want to talk to Bob once we have some kids
Great
on our youth.
organization.
Love Project Lift. Once we have some kids on our campus, figuring out what those synergies are and how we can keep these kids productive in our community so they're not on the streets and repeating what they've experienced growing up.
You know what your biggest drawback or problem is?
What's that?
People don't know.
People don't know, you're right.
The mindset, Martin County,
Yep.
it's la la land. It's like people don't believe that we have homelessness.
They don't.
People don't believe that we have people living in the woods.
Yep.
One of the most enlightening things to me, excuse me, Lynn Barlett is a very dear friend.
Mm-hmm.
When she started this human trafficking, I said, Lynn, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Who knew?
Yeah. It looks different in every community. Everybody thinks it's Eastern European countries. They think it's, kids being kidnapped from the mall. It's homegrown in a lot of ways.
there, and people I know, I mean, it shocked me. I mean, I'm not, I get it. I've been around the block a couple of times, but it shocked me when I saw the statistics of how many families were living in cars in Walmart parking lot
Yeah.
in Martin County. Who would think that? That's the biggest problem, is that the average Joe citizen
Yep.
doesn't get it. They don't
Yeah,
know
they
it.
don't see it. Because we do a really great job of making our community beautiful, but you're right, we don't know about it.
And I don't know whether it's, I'm not being accusatory, but I don't know whether it's swept under the rugs. But I assure you that I live in Martin Downs. I promise you that 90% of the people in Martin Downs don't even know we have homelessness in Martin
Yeah.
County.
Yeah.
And so I know you're doing a great job, and I know you're trying to get the message out,
Yeah.
and you're doing a great job. But to me, and I don't know obviously where you get your message out, but to me, with us, the chamber, we're speaking with business people.
Right.
How do you reach the masses? How do you get to them? How do
It's a variety of ways, and it takes a lot of people. It takes an army of people to share that message. And it takes time. It takes some one-on-one time, because foster care may not be something that means anything to a person, so they don't relate to it. But then when they hear homelessness or early childhood development, anybody that cares about early childhood development should care about homelessness and should care about child abuse, because they all go hand in hand, right? If these kids are homeless, they're not being fed well, they don't have a stable home, they're not getting their early childhood development. Those are critical stages. So it is a lot of relationship building. It's a lot of people like yourself saying, this is important, I'm seeing it, and it's important enough for me that I'm going to share it with all of my friends in Martin Downs. I'm going to do my part, whether it's to be a sponsor of our signature event, Paradise on the Peninsula at Hope Sound Polo Club, or if it's I'm going to host a party for my friends in Martin Downs, to where we can come. Or it could be a golf get together, and you guys couple of rounds of golf, a couple holes, excuse me, and then I chat with you, whatever that is. Lynn does a lot of presentations on human trafficking
Yeah, I
and
know
bringing
she does.
awareness. So that's really what it comes. It takes people taking initiatives. Douglas Elliman is a real estate organization, and they're coming into town. They're bringing their national group to the Breakers, and they said we have 250 of our top agents that are going to be in town, and we want to make them aware of what is happening across our nation, but really right here where we have some influential people. So they're doing a service day. They're going to be making meals and packages for our families that are coming into care, blessing bags we call them, and then I'll have the opportunity to share with them what's happening. And it'll speak to each one of them in a different way. So it just is every day getting out there and using your voice or using whatever platform you have. This is a perfect platform to share this information out, so I appreciate you having me. But it's people being touched enough to say, I don't want this to continue in my community. And even if it's just for one child to be saved, I want to make a connection. I want to do something.
So you need to talk to Debbie. Let's get you on a lunch program,
Okay, that would be great.
and if you have
love that.
overheads or slides or whatever
Yeah.
you want to show, but to not only make people aware, but to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to do that. I don't remember when or where, but I can remember, as long as I can remember, that I read somewhere or heard it on somewhere that 100% of serial killers started their lives out as abusers, whether it be animal abusers or their siblings or their children. That's incredible.
That does not shock me. Yeah. I don't find that out of place at all. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that to me is what the core mindset of these people
Yep.
is, and it's really
Yep.
it's horrible. It's really. So your facility that you're going to build, You said it will have units where
Yeah.
was it homeless mothers?
So, yeah, we actually will serve kind of a hybrid of all of our programs from that campus, which is beautiful. Half of it, the back half of it, is the Bender Family Village. So we received a $4 million gift from a Jupiter Island family, John and Bobby Irby, and that lead gift named the village and also the first building. So you might have heard about the Snyder family complex.
I did.
Right? So
Yeah,
that was
ribbon-
very
ribbon cutting.
We did. That was very exciting, and just for the legacy that they have created in this community. The sheriff John, and then of course his other son
David.
as well, David. Yes, they have created such a legacy. So in the Bender Family Village, the Snyder Family Complex is one of 4 complexes that will be there. In each one of those is 16 units for young adults who have aged out of foster care. Otherwise, homeless youth in the face of homelessness is very different than what I think people think it is. Single mothers with children. Ancy is a young lady on our Boca campus, because this campus exists already in Boca, and we have been able to replicate that, and we're bringing it into Martin County. We've been operating on the Boca campus with this program for over 10 years, and it's a fantastic program, and we see so much success. But Ancy is a perfect example of a single mom who's homeless. She was in school, in college, getting her bachelor's degree, but living in her car with her son because she couldn't afford school and work at the same time. So she was homeless. She was making all the best decisions that she could. She wasn't partying. And, when we think homeless, a lot of people just, they go in a direction that it does exist like that. But the new face of
Yeah, it's a
homelessness is
stigma.
correct. But the new face of homelessness really is these single moms with kids, these young adults that are really trying. I mean, affordable housing is just,
not
it
here.
doesn't exist, right? So half of that campus will be 4 complexes, 16 units within each one of them. The second complex actually was just named. We had 2 very gracious donors step up to name that second building. And then there will be a mommy and me cottage, as well as a neighborhood family foster care cottage. And that's what we have on our Palm Beach Gardens campus. So we're caring for residentially 350 to 400 children and youth and families residentially every year. And then on the Stuart campus is headquartered our Shade Tree Family Outreach. So this is really what we did as soon as we got those keys that day with $36 in the bank account, and we got the keys from Joe Flanagan, and we hit the ground running, and we said we need to reach the masses through our Shade Tree Family Outreach, and that is that child abuse prevention and family strengthening. So there's so many caregivers and non-relative caregivers taking in kids, grandmothers taking in 5, 6, and 7 children at a time because her kids have made some bad decisions, and now the state doesn't want to necessarily put them into traditional foster care or a group home like Place of Hope, but they'll give them to you. So can you imagine taking in 4 or 5 kids overnight? Overnight. Age range varies. We had a grandmother that took in 8 sibling groups between 2 and 14 years old. So through our
God.
Shade Tree Family Outreach Program, we're able to provide her the material support, the stuff that she or he or whoever that caregiver is needs, the aunt, the uncle, the brother. So diapers, wipes, strollers, cribs, baby formula, shoes. So many of these kids that are homeless or are coming from, just poverty. If they go to school, they need to fit in. They need to be confident. So many of them are coming in with holes in their shoes or blisters on their feet. They can't focus on school, and then the bullying, it just compounds. So if we can provide them shoes that fit them, clean clothes that are for them, that they feel worthy and confident, and then we're getting them into school and they're able to focus. That's what's happening through our Shade Tree Family Outreach Program. So that's headquartered in Stuart, and that's happening now. That happened the day that we got those keys. It was a program that we've had for years, but we expanded it outside of just our 4 walls of our foster families. So people in the community, if folks in Banner Lake need something, if folks in Palm City, if there is a need, they can find us. And we have an MOU with another great organization, Hands and Feet. So we have the stuff and the storage, and they work with us as the hands and feet to help get things out to families who can't come to us. So we'd love to have you on the Stuart campus soon. You got to come see it.
I promise you I will.
Yes, we'd love to have you,
It's a
so.
thing near and dear to my heart. So we're winding down. Is there
Yep.
something that we missed that you'd like people to know, or you'd like to tell me about?
I would love to, personally, I would love to have you come to Paradise on the Peninsula as my guest. It's October 13th. I don't know if you've been to that event before, maybe once before. It's our 5th year. We're hosting it again at Hope Sound Polo Club. So Atlantic Fields and Discovery and Becker Tree
I did 2 years ago, I think.
Was that the year that it rained so much?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Pray for no rain.
Yeah.
Pray for no rain. So we're still at the Hope Sound Polo Club, but we're at a different stable. That stable, because of all the rain, posed a
Those
lot of
stables were great out there.
beautiful. So that is coming up October 13th. There are opportunities for people to still attend, sponsor, take out a table.
Did we do any flyer or anything for you? Did we put it on our website? Did we do an email
I
blast?
believe so. I
Okay.
believe so. I'll double check, but I think
Yeah.
so. If not, I'll send it over to Amy.
Yeah.
For sure. But I'd love to have you as a guest for that. I'm not sure when this will air, but we'd love to, if anybody wants to support Auction Item. It's a great time. It's all about Old Florida. The whole premise of that event is to bring everybody that from New York and some other places. You've been here long enough, so you know the great parts of the agritourism of Florida, but a lot of people come from the East Coast and they have no idea what we have. So Bush Wildlife is out there with animals. We have Mechanical Bull. Andrew Morris Band will be there. So if you like Zach Brown, they are kind of like
I
Zach
do
Brown.
like it.
So they're going to be performing Nev's Barbecue, local barbecue. We'll have about between 400 and 500 people we usually do every year.
If we haven't done a flyer or email blast one for you,
I will.
get it to us.
I'll make sure I'll get it to
Okay.
you today. So,
Jamie, thank you.
so
Thank you for
much.
what you do.
Pleasure.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.